That house right there was the first house that I ever bought for 5,000 some dollars. Then I bought that one. A couple years later, bought that one. And then there's one down on the end of the street that I bought as well. So I ended up having 4 houses here. So guys, I was driving by this area over here where I used to own these houses, and just want to talk a little bit about how I got started in real estate. So that house, that first one that I bought, the story of that house was I found it for sale. I believe I was actually in school kind of surfing Zillow or Realtor.com. I don't remember which app it was. This was back in 2012. And I found this house. They're asking like 15 grand for it, okay? And I was like, I reached out to my dad. I'm like, Dad, like they're only asking 15 grand. You know, let's go look at it. So we ended up going and looking at this thing, and it was pretty bad. I mean, I'll throw some pictures up here. It needed just about everything you can think of. And we ended up offering $5,000 for this house. And, you know, no one else had made an offer, probably because they weren't stupid enough to. But I'm like, let's offer 5 grand. And so I did. They ended up accepting it. And that's when I was like, oh boy, we're in for a challenge here. So that again was back in 2012. So it was my senior year of high school. And that house really springboarded everything for me. Dad is a very handy guy. He knows how to do a lot. And so he taught me how to, you know, replace floors, patch drywall. We did stuff in the kitchen. We had to do a lot of plumbing in the basement. Spent a lot of hours there. One of my buddies helped me out a lot. Shout out to Austin. But that house, I remember the first time that I received a rent check from that house. His name was Leroy, my first tenant. And I remember going and picking that check up. I actually drove over there, and you know, he paid me that $525. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, I've got this house now, and this tenant that is living here, I'm making money off the rent every single month, and I'm paying off the debt that I have on it. So I thought that was so cool. Those first, say, I don't know, 3-4 years of investing, I didn't do a ton. I was, you know, I didn't have any money. So it was a slow process. And yeah, I would go back and do things differently. Probably, you know, if I was going to start over today. Although I don't regret any of the purchases that I made because I learned so much from them. Little side note, I am driving around. On Sundays, I like to just kind of drive around and look at property and just kind of dream about buying certain things and kind of plan, you know, for the future. But back to those houses, I learned so much through them. And the point of this video is you just got to get started somewhere. You know, if you haven't pulled the trigger on something, and even if it's not the greatest purchase, like today, there's no way I would buy that house again or any of those houses again. But it got me started. It got me going. And for some of the guys who watch the channel who haven't pulled the trigger on a small business or a property they're looking at, sometimes you just got to make it happen, even if it's not the most ideal situation. You know, you obviously don't want to put yourself into a hole, but you gotta get the traction going. And I have just been absolutely amazed over the last year and a half, probably, of my life, how fast things are starting to hockey stick. I mean, it's a grind the first few years of getting into business or real estate, but once the traction starts happening, once you start having momentum, it's just incredible. I mean, the momentum just will start shooting you up. And so when you're going through that momentum, it's important that you know, really push through it and keep trying to grow and take advantage of the momentum. I remember probably 5-6 years ago, I used to drive around and find all the multifamily property in my area. And I remember this was one of the properties that I had looked at, you know, at one point in time. Obviously never ended up buying it. But it's just kind of fun to think about, you know, where you came from and then also plan for the future. I just love kind of driving around, looking at stuff and you know, thinking, oh man, like, you know, I was looking at this property, but now I'm looking at something 10 times the size, and it's just really exciting. So as the new year rapidly approaches, I would just challenge you guys to, you know, if you're wanting to get started on something, if you're wanting to buy something, set a goal and then plan on blowing through that goal this year. I know that I've really had to increase my plan for the future because I've just been shocked at how much you can really achieve when you set your mind to something. So 2022, guys, I'm excited to see what happens. Hope you guys all have, big visions and dreams for 2022. And if not, better start thinking about it, write it down, plan it out. Wake up in the morning early, have a cup of coffee, and kind of like plan out your vision for 2022. And you never know, you might blow past what you had in mind for yourself. So guys, hope you guys are having an awesome day, and we'll talk to you soon, and thanks for watching.